Endrick's inspiring journey, from humble beginnings to stardom. Endrick Felipe grew up in a family that faced tough times, where his father struggled to provide for them. Witnessing these challenges firsthand, Endrick made a promise to himself that he would become a professional footballer to change their circumstances. From a young age, his talent shone through in the lower divisions of Palmeiras, where he scored an impressive 165 goals in 169 games. One memorable moment was his bicycle kick goal in the under-11 São Paulo State Championship Finals. This story delves into the journey of a boy whose father recognized his soccer talent and shared it on YouTube. This decision attracted the attention of top teams, leading to opportunities for Endrick. To support his son's dreams and ensure the family's survival, Endrick's father worked as a janitor for his youth team. Step into the world of Endrick Felipe, where every kick of the ball is a step closer to his dreams. Raised by Douglas de Souza and Cynthia Ramos Moreira, Endrick's journey is more than his achievements on the pitch, it's about the bonds with his brother Noah, the guidance from his grandparents Teresa Souza and José Luvardo, and a life infused with the vibrant culture of Brazil. Dive into his story, where football and family intertwine. Preamble. Endrick Felipe's biography begins by telling you notable events of his boyhood and early life. Next, we'll explain his early career years in Taguatinga, Federal District, Brazil. Finally, we'll tell you how the Brazilian rising starlet landed in the books of Real Madrid. We hope to whet your autobiography appetite as you read this engaging piece of Endrick Felipe's biography. To begin right away, let's present you a gallery that tells his story, from his baby years to the moment of stardom. Truth be told, Endrick has come a long way. Yes, everyone knows the Brazilian is an athletically gifted football prospect. Endrick is a footballer whose ability is far above the majority of upcoming footballers his age. He has great technique, skill and unprecedented strength for someone of his young age and size. In the course of writing about Brazilian soccer stories, we noticed areas that lack content. The truth is, not many fans have read an in-depth version of Endrick Felipe's biography, which is very exciting. So we have prepared it, and without further ado, let's get started. Endrick Felipe. Childhood story. Starting off, his full name is Endrick Felipe Moreira de Souza. The Brazilian forward was born on the 21st day of July 2006 to his mother, Cynthia Moreira, and father, Douglas Souza, in Taguatinga, Brazil. From what we've gathered, Endrick Felipe is one among two children, himself and a brother, Noah, born to the union between his parents. Now, let's introduce you to Cynthia Moreira and Douglas Souza. Endrick's journey to arrive in the world began with the love and commitment of his dad and mum, whose wedding is captured in this photo gallery. Growing up. Endrick Felipe spent his childhood at Taguatinga, situated in the Federal District of Brasília. The striker was raised in a family with more boys as children, Endrick himself and Noah. Let's unveil to you this gallery, which displays the legacy of love and support tendered by Douglas Souza and Cynthia Moreira. Endrick Felipe's grandmother is seen here carrying him, who is the torch passed down by her son-in-law. On the other hand, Douglas, her son-in-law, is seen here carrying Endrick's brother, Noah. An unbreakable bond exists between the children born to Douglas and Cynthia. Despite the huge age gap, Endrick has always been there to guide and support his younger sibling, Noah. He takes Noah out for dinner and ensures his little brother joins him to celebrate his wins on the football pitch. Endrick Felipe early life. Growing up in Brasília, Endrick, at the early age of 4, started playing football. Endrick Felipe's father, Douglas Souza, played a pivotal role in introducing his first son to football. Those days, the proud dad, a footballer, would take his son out to the field, encouraging him to learn from him while he played. As a footballer himself, Douglas Souza loved having his son by his side. And back then, Endrick wasn't just a spectator but one of the lucky mascots of his dad's team. As a child, Endrick's passion for football increased when he practiced individually with his dad. Douglas took it as his own personal mission to teach his son everything he knew in the game. As Endrick makes stunning moves with the ball, his dad would use his camera to capture his son's performance and upload it to YouTube. Thanks to the efforts of his Douglas, it wasn't long before Endrick's talent was noticed by a football scout from Palmeiras. That led to Endrick's first big break in the sport. From that moment, he continued to soar and, years later, became a rising star in the football world. Endrick Felipe family. Background. Now, let's tell you about the household of the Palmeiras striker. Endrick Felipe comes from humble beginnings, with his father, Douglas Souza, having played football at the amateur level. In this old photo of his Penharol team, Endrick's dad, Douglas de Souza, is pictured in the third position of the front row, from the left. Endrick Felipe's father didn't make much money in his career. He never achieved the same level of success as Mazinho, who is the father of Thiago Alcantara. Endrick Felipe's family faced hardships at one point, and a lack of financial resources resulted in difficult times. There once existed a moment Douglas Souza would never forget. On that day, Endrick Felipe's father remembers the heartache of having to tell his young son that there was no food available to eat. That happened when little Endrick, who was hungry, asked for food to eat. At that time, the family lived in their hometown of Brasilia. Endrick came to his dad, asking for food, and Douglas Souza did not have any to give. On that day, Endrick Felipe's father cried. And he heard his son consoling him and making a promise to his dad that one day, he would become a successful footballer and solve their family's financial issues. Indeed, it was not so smooth for the Souza family at that time. For years, Endrick Felipe's dad was unemployed. To keep his family surviving, the poor man sold breakfast at the Barra Funda bus station in the district of São Paulo. Endrick Felipe's dad's new occupation, a janitor for Palmeiras. As his son played for Palmeiras, Douglas Souza wanted to remain close. Thankfully, he was lucky to have a cleaning job with the club. Pablo Garvey's father, the FC Barcelona and Spanish footballer, also passed through a similar fate. Even as a janitor for the Brazil club, Palmeiras, Endrick Felipe's dad never had enough to feed himself, especially after taking care of family expenses. Sometimes, he would go on to have meals with first-team players. To the surprise of many, including the club's goalkeeper, Jailson Marcelino, Endrick's dad was noticed to be drinking only soup. That intrigued goalkeeper asked Douglas Souza why he only drank soup and did not eat the rest of his food. After opening up about the reason for that, Jailson found out that Endrick's dad had only 7 teeth in his mouth. Feeling pitiful for him, the generous goalkeeper decided to pay for the dental treatment of Douglas Souza. As I write this bio, the struggles of Douglas Souza's family are now over. Thanks to Endrick's success, his father, who is now rich, has stopped working as a janitor with Palmeiras. Neither does Douglas Souza sell breakfast anymore at the Barra Funda bus station. Endrick Felipe family origin. First, his parents, Douglas Souza and Cíntia Moreira, have Brazilian nationality. Regarding Endrick Felipe's origin, we found that he is a native of Taguatinga. This place is a satellite city in the capital of Brasilia, and is about 20 kilometers east of the city center. Endrick Felipe education. The aspiring footballer attended his early childhood education, Educarca Infantil, in his native Taguatinga, Federal District, Brasilia. In Brazil, where Endrick comes from, education is compulsory for kids between the ages of 6 and 14. So we are quite sure that he continued his studies while playing academy football. Endrick Felipe biography, football, story. The decision for Douglas Souza to publish his son's football skills on YouTube paid off. After doing that, he made some physical effort to search for interested football clubs for his son. Douglas Souza visited some football academies, which were mainly concentrated around the Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo areas. Thankfully, there was a lot of interest in Endrick's YouTube video, especially from football scouts from top clubs. At first, São Paulo FC accepted Douglas Souza's son. Upon acceptance, São Paulo FC advised Endrick Felipe's family to move to the region where their football academy is located. Owing to the idea of starting life from scratch in another city, Douglas Souza expected the club to settle the bulk of the family expenses. Unfortunately, São Paulo FC didn't meet up the expectation of Endrick Felipe's dad. The club could only offer him financial aid of 150 Brazilian real per month. When this money is converted, it equals between $28.50 to $30 in a month. To Endrick's parents, the money was too small. Feeding his family with $30 a month, including paying bills, was far from being enough for Douglas. All Endrick Felipe's father wanted was for the club to offer him a job or at least pay for his housing in São Paulo. In an interview with the country's Nicola channel, Douglas said, "The club couldn't fix either of them, the housing or providing me a job. That's when we saw that there was no way to maintain a relationship with São Paulo." Moving on from São Paulo FC. Faced with the club's refusal, Endrick's father prepared more videos of his son and then uploaded them on YouTube. This time, the video of Endrick attracted the eyes of another top Brazilian club, Palmeiras, who invited his parents for a meeting. Before Palmeiras finally accepted the footballer, Corinthians was first in the picture. Corinthians reviewed the needs of Endrick, Felipe's dad, and rejected them. As it was revealed, Corinthians did not want to pay the rent to the family. And the club did not agree to offer Douglas Souza a job. At last, Palmeiras became the final destination for Endrick. The Brazilian professional football club, which raised the likes of Gabriel Jesus, the Arsenal striker, attended to the needs of Endrick Felipe's dad. Palmeiras gave Douglas a job, to work for the club's janitor in the Barra Funda neighborhood. Endrick Felipe bio, Road to Fame story. The son of Douglas Souza and Cíntia Moreira made a vow to uplift his family. Endrick told his parents that he would not give up on his journey to become a professional footballer and also to help his family. The boy was pushed to make this statement after seeing how his dad, Douglas, struggled to feed him. In addition to the job provided by the football institution, Endrick Felipe's dad decided to find supplementary income. Within his first months of living in the capital of São Paulo, Douglas Souza found that he could start a small business in a bus station. So the hardworking dad began to sell quick breakfasts to cover the expenses of his family. Joining the little income the business provided, including his salary, as a janitor in Palmeiras, Endrick's dad was enough to pay bills and keep his family surviving. Douglas inspired his son to youth career greatness. Endrick Felipe's dad was a dedicated man who was foresighted about the future of his son's career. He, initially unemployed, could have applied and gotten a job elsewhere. The truth is, he didn't fancy the idea of staying far from his son. Douglas Souza wasn't shy to accept to work as a janitor at his son's football academy, Palmeiras. Working as a janitor for Palmeiras gave him access to his son. As noticed here, father's presence helped Endrick adapt in his early career days. From the age of 10, young Endrick was considered a prodigy from his first season with Palmeiras. The boy stood out against all football opponents, some of whom were 5 years older than him. In no time, the football qualities of Endrick, which included leadership potential, earned him a captaincy spot. It didn't end there. The Taguatinga native began helping Palmeiras to win trophies, attracting Europe. One day, as Palmeiras and Oeste Futebol Clube finished their warm-ups before they battled each other, football scouts from Europe took their seats at the stadium. They, scouts from Barça, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, Southampton, Benfica and Ajax, were mostly there to watch Endrick. The scouts from the above-named clubs were ready to watch the quarter-finals of the Copa São Paulo, Brazil's premier youth competition. Surprisingly, a 15-year-old Endrick took the match by storm by scoring goals. He made even a bigger impact than Neymar had done at that same age and competition. All of a sudden, Endrick, with loads of trophies, was being compared to Brazil's World Cup legend, Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima. At the tender age of 16, Endrick Felipe was already a holder of 8 trophies. With Palmeiras Youth, he won the Campeonato Paulista, Sub-15 and 20, Copa do Brasil Sub-17, Campeonato Brasileiro Sub-20 and Copa São Paulo de Futebol Júnior. While playing with the Brazil U16 team, he won the 2022 Montague tournament. And with Palmeiras senior team, he won the Campeonato Brasileiro Série A and the Supercopa do Brasil, 2023. Towards the closure of the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar, Real Madrid made a surprise announcement about the teenager. The Spanish giant revealed that they had reached an agreement with Endrick Felipe and his family to sign him as soon as he completes 18, in July of 2024. The rest, as we say, of the Brazilian striker who fascinates FIFA is now history. Who is Endrick Felipe's girlfriend? At the time of writing this bio, the 16-year Brazilian athlete is successfully balancing a relationship alongside his budding football career. A testament to his maturity, Endrick manages to maintain both aspects of his life with ease. Now, allow us to introduce Laura Hernandez, the young woman who holds the title of Endrick Felipe's girlfriend. In contrast to the majority of parents with fast, rising footballers under the age of 17, who might be hesitant to let their young celebrities engage in romantic relationships, Endrick Felipe's parents stand apart. Douglas Souza and Cynthia Moreira wholeheartedly support their son's relationship. Laura Hernandez, Endrick's girlfriend, often spends time with his family. Here, they showcase their acceptance of a woman who is likely to become Endrick Felipe's wife in the near future. Endnote. Endrick Felipe's life story has a resemblance to many of the great Brazilian stars who come from very humble origins. He was raised by his parents, Douglas and Cynthia, in a country where social inequality is very merciless with the black population. Since his early childhood, little Endrick had encountered lots of challenges both on and off the pitch. Douglas Souza's most painful memory of his family struggle was the day his son came home from Brasilia to ask him for food. The poor dad cried after telling his son he did not have any. As Endrick's dad cried, he heard his son make a vow, promising him that he would fight hard to become a professional footballer and improve things for his household. Putting action into his mission, Endrick would wake up earlier than his dad. He would wait by the side of a bicycle to watch Douglas, his dad, play football on the football fields of Valparaiso, Rio Azul. Endrick received guidance from his dad in terms of learning the beautiful game. He began playing the ball barefoot, running after the round leather, and scoring goals. The journey to playing with Palmeira was not the simplest. When he was young, Endrick's dad was fond of publishing his son's goals on YouTube, with the view of attracting big clubs for his son. Endrick's family first had meetings with São Paulo. Unfortunately, an agreement could not be reached as the club was not willing to assist his dad with money for housing, in the city, or a job. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this, don't forget like and subscribe this channel. Goodbye.